Welcome everyone to the Social Dig, the greatest underrated show on the World Wide Web. I am your host, Mr. Rob G. And as always, we're going to be digging into the topics that keep you talking and the talk that keeps you thinking. So come on in, kick your feet up, get an ice cold beverage, get ready to join the conversation. Welcome everyone over to the Social Dig, the late night call-in show, where this show is for you. It's for the viewers, for you. It's for you to come up on stage and talk about your experiences. So hopefully we'll get some of that tonight. Maybe even just some Black Friday talk, holiday talk, whatever you guys want to do, it's up to you. The link is in the chat, so make sure you go ahead and click on that. That will bring you up on stage, and we will do that like we do. Let me go ahead and welcome everyone that's come in so far. We got JSCO77. We got Mothman in the building. We got Brown Dwarf. We got John Swan. Appreciate you for coming on in. We have Woo Riders DG, Derek Galloway. Thanks for showing on up here. We got Jessica S. Thanks for showing up here. We got Carl Bittner. We have Fast Timmy is in the building. Hey, Fast Timmy. We got Chris Dean. She's here. She's in the building as well. We got Latchkey Hustle. How you doing, man? Thanks for coming on in. Let's see. We got Starseed Awakening. Wow. Long time. Thanks for coming on in. Appreciate you showing on up here. We have Hillbilly Herb. Hillbilly Herb is in the building tonight. We have Love v. Love. Dr. Love. Dr. Love is in the building. Anyone need a doctor? Dr. Love is in the building. We got Mothman here in the building. Appreciate you showing on up here to the Social Dig. We definitely appreciate you going down the list. Joe Monk. Did I say Joe Monk? If I did, I'm going to say it again. Joe Monk. Thanks for coming on in. We have Midwest Night Watchers. Thanks for coming on in here. Cielo Azul. Thanks for coming on in. Let's see. Who else do we have? Magneticus Attractus. What's up, buddy? Appreciate you coming on in. Richard Minnick. Thank you for showing on up over here. Wes H. Appreciate you for showing on up. Appreciate everybody for showing on up. As you know, we just came over from the After Hour Show, which we do every Saturday and Sunday at Spaced Out Radio, 8 p.m. until 11 p.m. Pacific. We had a great time over there. If you missed it, you got to go over and check out the show for sure. Also, you know, we got to bring up some of the things that we have going on here on the channel. We do have Ask the Chat. The number to call in, 856-843-3444. That's 856-THE-DIGG. If you're outside the United States, that's 001 first. Then the number, you can go ahead and get on stage here. Social Dig Late Night Calling Show. Also, memberships available. Become a social soldier today. And let me go ahead and give you the list of people we got so far. Maggie M10, The Beekeeper, D. Nunley, T-Bone, and Joanne, Mothman, Richard Wilson, Lovey Love, Dogface, Woo Riders DG, Poncho Zorg, Deb from Sacramento, Flat 6, Lulu Bell, President Zaddy, Eternity, Eternal Thirsty, Bryce's Folly, Magneticus Attractus, Urso, Saprosoft, Kurt M, Hips and Chips. Welcome to the show, Lil Cam 5-1, Lisa Davis, Kitty Catty Whack, Joe Monk, Phil R, Chris Jarvis, Robert Redmond, Clip Channel, Midwest Night Watchers, Guardian Jackpot, Brown Door, Drew Banky, Miss Catherine Jones, Deadfish Cheese Spread, Moody Mongol, and W. Decker, West Decker. Appreciate you guys for being social soldiers and kind of just helping this channel do what it needs to do to get to that next level. It's all appreciated. Richard Minnick, I do appreciate the super chat here. And yeah, thank you right back to you, sir. So do appreciate you. Also, we have the social shop, right? Where you can go ahead and get some swag. You got the My Experience with the Phenomena hoodie, which is one of the shows on the channel here. Has the logo on the front with the Social Dig logo on the back, amongst a lot of other things you can go and check out at any time. So we do appreciate everyone showing up here tonight, and we also appreciate the man with the plan, Mr. Decade, who came over to join us as well, all the way from Spaced Out Radio, where we just left, guys. Dave Scott. Appreciate you, Dave, for joining us tonight. Also, Latchkey Hustle, thank you so much for your awesome support as well of the channel tonight. And yeah, let's get it in, guys. Let's get it in. The link is in the chat. You guys can jump on stage, and you'd be on stage with Dave Scott. You'd be on stage with Dave Scott. Take the opportunity to do so and hit that link in the chat. That's that guy right there. That's that guy. I know you've always wanted to ask Dave a question. You've
I
always wanted to ask him.
I want to be your one and only social dig Diglet.
Let's go.
I
Let's
want to
go.
get a, I want to get a T-shirt that says Diglet with your logo on it. I
Let's
want to be
go. I'll have to do that. I haven't had time to sit up in the shop and do anything. There's some things, and we talk behind the scenes about, there's certain shirts that I want to do that you can't really just, you want to put a trademark behind it first before putting it out. A lot of this stuff you can put out, nobody's really worried about it, but I have some ideas that I think need trademarks attached to them. So they don't just take over the idea. A couple cool ideas. And other than that, yeah, Joe Monk, thank you for asking me as well for your support. Joe Monk came in and said, Rob helped me make a video for my YouTube channel. Rob is absolutely awesome. I just help where I can. I've been a troubleshooting type of person forever. And it was all done over the phone. So it was easy to do that, Joe Monk. Wasn't a big deal. It was anytime. It's all good, man. Don't worry about it. And Deb from Sacramento. Yeah, you said this earlier, Deb. You said, can we do Black Friday trivia stories? Why not? Why not? If you have any awesome Black Friday stories, as you know, Black Friday has come and gone without incident here in the United States. Much to Dave's dismay, but we came out on the other side clean, right? We came out on the other side loving each other, which is what we really wanted. I know you have a totally different perspective, Dave, but
Mm.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
There's nothing more disappointing than knowing that America failed us again. Failed us again. It's horrible. Shouldn't be like that.
That is totally funny, Dave, because I ended up getting everything that I needed and didn't have to see a single store.
Yeah.
I
See,
didn't have
that's
to
just
see
wrong.
one.
Rob, I expected you to be in full armor, looking like a knight from the Queen's army or the King's army, and going in, riding your steed right up through that front door, trampling people. Okay, because you had to get what you needed. Maybe a new bottle of cologne, maybe one of those oversized Toblerones, maybe a PS5. That's what I expected. And to see that there are literally no videos that I could find that are jumping out on my wall or anything about Black Friday brawls, it's a sad day. Sad day in American history once again. Complete failure.
Those, my friend, are the old days. But good thing is over here, since we're not doing radio over here, we can actually show videos over here. And let me see if there happen to have been any Black Friday brawls. We may just be unaware. I didn't look for any. I don't assume that there had been. I'm sure they would have been on the news, but maybe there was. And maybe we could at least reminisce on, what it is that you are looking for here. Um okay. Let's read this story. This might sum it up for you, Dave. I think it's over. Okay. USA Today. This was a couple of years ago, Black Friday. And let me bring this up on the screen. Okay, here we go. right. So this is about old Black Friday fights images. So, okay, fights, tents, swarms of people with Black Friday in America look like at peak chaos. I guess we're going to get a little dose of that here.
Look at that. Beautiful. It's gorgeous.
That's hilarious. If it'll play, should play. Come on, guys. All right. Well, that's the image of what it used to look like. I'll read the story. Just a few years ago, the words Black Friday would conjure images of frenzied shoppers packed into stores like sardines and hunting for the best bargains. But the traditional kickoff the holiday shopping season now looks starkly different. Black Friday, which falls on the Friday after Thanksgiving, has been known as the unofficial beginning of the holiday shopping season since the start of the Macy's Thanksgiving Parade in 1924, according to BlackFriday.com. In 2022, the unofficial U.S. holiday falls on November 25th. Consumers' increasing preference for online shopping, amplified in 2020 and at the onset of COVID 19, has made waking up at 3 a.m. to wait in 2 hour lines far less common. Images of Black Friday's bygone era shows mayhem in crammed stores, parking lot fights, and tents lined up with crowds of people. Do you miss it?
Yes.
And it is no.
Yes.
As-
100%.
Look at this. This is ridiculous. Come on, Dave.
No, no. In
You really
order,
like seeing this?
as an outsider to your beautiful country, and you know I love the United States, there's just something very gratifying of and the irony of it all of seeing great American citizens have their turkey, watch their football on the Thursday, and then literally pepper spray the hell out of each other for a toy or a television the next day. I think it's beautiful. I think it's beautiful. I really do.
It said nowadays, many major retailers like Walmart and Target are offering discounts through November, and most closed on Black Friday in 2020 for the first time in a decade. A national survey about holiday shopping of more than 1,000 consumers published this year's highlights the decline of the Black Friday experience. It found that just 32% of people said they will shop in person on Black Friday, decreased from 35% in 2021, while more than 80% of consumers said they will shop during Cyber Week 2022. Most major retailers adopted Cyber Monday week by 2016 to offer a variety of deals over several days, according to Investopedia. The majority of people, 64%, will shop on Cyber Monday, an increase from 45% who said they shopped on Cyber Monday in 2021. Spending for the mostly online event is expected to fall amid record high inflation, but physical retailers could see a boost. According to the survey, even so, nearly half of consumers said shopping malls will be important for their 2022 holiday shopping needs. Of the retail locations, respondents reported they'll visit in person on Black Friday, 62%, Walmart, 58%, said Target, and 34% said shopping malls. So we were still going. We just go over a more spread out time frame now. It's not just Black Friday the day anymore. It's Black Friday month or Black Friday week now. So you get to go well before Black Friday if you're going to go in person. You don't have to go on that one day where you have to wait in line or sit overnight and just all that stuff. That's primitive. That's primitive human behavior. And it's a shame that you promote that, Dave. I just,
Well, I wouldn't say it's shame, Rob. It this is a part of the beauty of American culture. It's something that when we go and look down below us and what's happening in the beautiful United States of America, Rob, there are certain things that the world wants to see. All right. Don't be embarrassed by it. Be proud of it. Embrace it.
Oh my
Just
God.
embrace it, Rob. Right?
I want to laugh. But you know, at the same time, I said so many nice things about you, Dave, in the last couple of days. Talked about you're a person that cares about people, and then you turn right around and you make a comment like people you love seeing Americans kill each other over products.
I never said kill. Never said kill. All right. I did say beat the living shit out of each other, but that's I mean, there's important things on the line. There's important things on the line, Rob. I mean, you have to be able to, provide, and providing that type of entertainment.
Look, see, Browndorf knows he's here in the States and he's here in California, Southern California. He says violence is real out here, which it is, which is why Black Friday stuff is borderline committing crimes out here in America. And Bomber, I'm assuming Bomber, well, I know Bomber's in Canada, but saying we were so incredibly entertained. Be proud. You held that title for so long.
Exactly. Thank you, Bomber.
Mm-hmm.
That's the voice of reason right there. Voice of reason.
But Deb from SAC does say I'm proud to be an American, which I am too, Deb. Shout out to Deb from SAC. And then also Bomber has the boxing gloves up there. Just the wrong idea, Bomber. Come on now. Cielo Azul saying, but Dave loves our shitty Taco Bell. So, okay. I like that. Let's
Had,
not
full confession. 6 days ago, I had Taco Bell. And it was good. It was great. I pulled up to the order. My order was $49.
Yeah, that part.
I bought enough for lunch and dinner. And I ate everything. I didn't share a single taco with my family. I ate it all.
That's a shame, man.
I'm
That's gluttonous, Dave. That's gluttonous.
I sinned badly.
As I tell people out here that you have this fixation with Taco Bell and no one seems to understand it. And they're like, does he have a Taco Bell in Canada? Do they have them? Like, yeah, they do. They do have them in Canada. And he still has this fixation with Taco Bell. And I just don't get it. I mean, we're in California where we eat things like street tacos. Like Taco Bell is a more of a play. It's like play Mexican food, right? It's not really Mexican food considered that at all. Because tacos aren't supposed to be crunchy like that in a shell like that. They're not supposed to come that way. So a lot of people don't know that. Well, Latchkey Hustle, Great American, is asking, has Dave ever been involved in an event with mass violence off ice?
Only once. Twice.
You want to talk about it?
In the 90s, couple of big bar fights that ended up on the street. I hate street fighting, to be blunt. I hate street fighting. I see street fighting, I run the other way. I go the other way. Now, it's so ironic because if back in my hockey playing days, if there was a fight on the ice, I was right in there. Loved it. Just there was no greater feeling. But I see a street fight, I am a chicken. Absolute chicken. I hate them.
Why do they allow fighting in hockey?
Part of the game.
Like, where does that go back to? Has it always been that way?
Yeah.
Have they ever tried to take it out?
It's getting there now. But you'll never take it from the game.
Because I'm figuring you probably should just box, right? If you want to fight, you should box or do MMA.
Bare knuckle fight a guy for 90 seconds, and you either get kicked out of the game or you sit in the penalty box for 5 minutes and feel shame.
Dave, let's be for real. I'm pretty sure we can find some hockey fights. Those guys don't really connect that well. Slipping and sliding on the ice. It's not really. It's more like pitter pat, pity pat sort of stuff.
My nose whistle is because of a hockey fight.
Okay.
Yeah. That one, I lost the fight. It was the last fight I was ever in. I lost it. This guy and I went toe to toe for about a minute. And that doesn't sound like a long time, but in a hockey fight, it is. And it was hold on. He had my jersey, I had his jersey, and he's right-handed, I'm left-handed, and it was just open lane, straight facial punches for about 1 minute. And this is the only guy I ever fought in my life that every time he hit me, Rob, I saw stars. Like usually you take the first one and then you kind of black out. You don't feel it. Your face goes numb. But every punch he hit me, I saw stars. I was just like, this one hurts.
Let me see if we can get away from and I don't condone violence, guys, but this is this is what they do in hockey, guys. We do have someone from the audience out there. I'll bring you up in just a second here. Okay, who is this guy? What is this? Oh, okay, they're checking.
That's Scott Stevens hitting Paul Kariya, I believe, in the 1995-96 Stanley Cup final.
Is that what you consider an awesome check, or
that was a great hit? Great hit. Now, if you want to watch a good one, type in Bob. Here, I'll bring it up. One second here. We just passed the 36th anniversary of this, 37th anniversary of this one. Just 1 second here, Robbie.
Yeah, let me move this out.
All right.
As you bring that up, Joe Monk wants to know what Taco Bell sauce is your favorite.
Oh, always the hottest ones.
Yeah, fire. Yeah.
Here we go, Rob.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll sit in the penalty box for 5 minutes. Yeah.
Ciela Azul says, and then that's the highlight of the game, actually, more than the actual gameplay. I can agree. I mean, this is, we don't really understand hockey down here like that. Deb from SAC did say with that awesome super chat, I'm beginning to worry about you, Dave. LOL. Because he's such a nice guy, right? But he seems to have this underlying thing of violence, right? I don't know what that is. I guess the former hockey player coming out. I guess that's what that is. I guess.
It was just fun.
Here, I don't know this comment. Jessica S says Gretzky didn't have a strap to hold your jersey down during fights. They have straps. I mean, I don't understand the context.
Mm. Let's turn this show to something else because Human Carl is saying, I'm out. He wants woo. He doesn't want hockey fights.
All right, Carl Bittner, what do you want? Let's talk about what you want. Let's focus on you, Carl Bittner. What do you want tonight? Give you a chance to. You have every opportunity to come up on stage, as we'll bring up our first guest here, James Newton. Hi, James. Are you there? All right. We'll kind of leave you there until you come up on stage here. Let's see. All right. So you guys know this show is for you guys. So this is the point where I've talked for hours and hours and hours, and then we come over here and then we get to hear from you guys. So this isn't me still talking for more hours and hours and hours. This is where I get to engage with you guys, right? This is what this is all about. This is why we do this. So, anyone want to come up on stage? Or what is Deb from SAC asking for? Yeah, he's muted, but he's muted from his end. Magneticus. Trivia for Carl. I don't see Carl though. Where is Carl? Okay. Yeah, Deb, and that's part of the issue there. So a lot of people want to talk from the from the chat, which is fine, but you're gonna have to engage. We're not just hanging out. We're here to talk, have a conversation. That's what we do here. That's what this is all about. Okay, who is this? James, are you there? I saw your background come up for a minute. Now let's talk about this, Derek Galloway. Tell me more. Give me more insight on this. The December 3rd alien invasion prophecy. I don't like dates. I don't when people throw dates into this conversation, that's where we begin to have a problem with me. Because the dates always seem to come and go. And anytime someone says something's gonna happen on this date, it almost tunes me out of the conversation. I just can't go with it. Have you heard anything about that, Dave? The December 3rd alien invasion prophecy? I'm just not aware of it.
I mean, the people who I'm talking to, they still are saying between 27 and 35.
The 2027 and 2035.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate dates, man. I hate dates going back to the Mayan prophecy, going back to Y2K. Let's go back to Y2K. Dates have never worked out for the prophets, the false prophets in a lot of cases. So I don't know really, I don't know what to say, Derek. I'm not even familiar with that as well. But I see your picture up here. Now you're Ronnie McNutt. You changed your name. Caller, are you there? All right. I'll put you in the backstage when I see you come up or show me something to let me know you're ready. And I'll bring you back up. Um, okay. No, all right. So there was something recently. I'm trying to think of what it was. I was watching. God, I'm so behind on with the holiday here. I think it was Ross Coulthard had something on Need to Know recently. Let me see. I can bring that up here. What was the topic? Uh, Maybe that was a reality check. I think it was reality check. What do you think about Ross Coulthard going into these different? So with reality check is different from Need to Know. Have you had a chance to watch reality check at all?
Well, yeah,
So
I've seen highlights from it.
like he has different, like the way he approaches the topics is for some reason different on that show. So for instance, he's had lately, which I think is a okay thing, is that he's had experiencers on that show. Now he just started doing that recently. People who have these outlandish sort of experiences that you most of the time you wouldn't see brought to the mainstream like that, but he's having them on that show and they're on News Nation. So, and then the latest show he had 3 days ago was titled on Reality Check, Is Jesus an Alien? Pope Francis' interest in UAPs explained. What do you think about that? Do you think that's those are topics that he should be covering? Do you think that that's what he should be focusing on when it comes to the mainstream media? Is topics like that? Because I've been going kind of back and forth with how I felt about some of the moves that Ross is making with some of these choices.
I like it. I do. The one thing that I know about Ross, and I know he's taken a lot of heat over the last year about from so-called journalism experts that are trolling on X, and he has brought what his sources have told him. And has he put his foot in his mouth? Sure, all journalists do. We all do. I don't think if I was him, for instance, I would ever mention anything about that UFO the size of a building and they can't get it out of the mountain or the ground, so they built a building around it. I don't think I would have ever mentioned that. But I will say this about Rob, or not, sorry, about Ross. He loves this subject, man. He cannot get enough of this subject. He also has had a complete change in his attitude towards it, from nuts and bolts to the fact that there is way more out there than we even know about. And so for him to expand on the topics, the one thing Ross is very smart at is if he is having, say, conversations with politicians who say, hey, I'd like to hear more of these people's experience, real people's experience, not the military's, but real people's experiences. He'd go get them on the air. He would. I would do it. It's not selling out. It's a story idea. So I cut Ross some slack, but it is what it is.
How do you feel about this? Because this is something that I always talk about, especially on this channel too, is about Ross needing to disclose more about that buried UFO, where the one that's so big that they had to build a building around it. I think we did talk briefly about this when we talked about um, journalistic integrity.
Yeah, I think with Ross, like I said, I don't think I would have mentioned that story. I think I don't know all of his sources. I know some of them, but he has to pick and choose. And as a journalist, you feel responsible to provide the information that you are given to the public. And yes, maybe you cannot name names or certain details, but your job is to do that. But I also think Ross is very, as new as he is to this subject, I think that he, or I'll just say this, in my opinion, I wouldn't have ran that story. I wouldn't have done it. And no, it's not under SOR headquarters.
Yeah. I mean, the thing, and that's just the frustrating part about it. I came over here and I said I was just like, if assuming that everything changes, if just say the world shifts in a moment of catastrophic disclosure where nothing is the same going forward, where all rules have changed, societal rules, then it's like, okay, well, then at that point, will you keeping your source, or does that even matter? You know what I mean? If you're in this whole new world where the rules are now different, then do you still stick to your journalistic integrity even through that? On the other side, you do? Okay.
I would. It's a matter of professionalism. And Rob, the one thing that I will say about it, okay, is we're playing with people's lives. Okay, I equate it. I don't know if I use this example with you or not. If I have, I apologize. I equate sources to professional athletes. You're a Dallas Cowboys fan.
Even though we suck, but yep, go ahead.
Okay. And let's say they trade Dak Prescott, and you're not a Dak Prescott fan.
Please trade Dak Prescott. Please.
I think it was a year ago you were in love with the dude because I was saying trade Dak.
Uh-huh. Oh, I've hated Dak Prescott. Oh, okay.
You think he's a rising star?
No way.
Anyways, I'm teasing you there. But let's say they trade Dak Prescott to pick a team, Seattle. Okay. Because Lord knows Geno Smith has a horrible time of getting on streaks. To you and I, it's just a player. Right? Hey, he's got big money. He's got a contract. It's part of the game. That's what we always say. What we don't see behind the scenes is the guy has a family. Okay, probably has a wife, children, and if he doesn't, okay, we're just going to say he does for this conversation. He has to upset his entire life, his wife's life, his children's lives, the schools they may go to, the preschools, whatever they may go to. Car insurance, where do you live? Everything. You have to learn new roads, new everything. And the way we look at that is the same way as I look at that is the same way as sources. Okay, these are human beings who have livelihoods. They have mortgages. They're not getting a $60 million contract like your buddy Dak. They have car payments. Maybe they're sending their kids to college. Maybe they are having to pay medical bills or student loans or whatever it may be. And the government paycheck that they have is fulfilling those bills being covered. Now, all of a sudden, if you out that person, not only does the door close on your information because nobody else now is going to trust you to give you inside information. Number one, you lost your source. You lost potential sources because you're no longer trustworthy. And number three, what have you done to that person's career? Because they're likely going to get fired. And all they wanted to do was tell you, hey, I got some UFO paperwork I think you need to see. Or I got some UFO news or a UFO video or alien autopsy or whatever it is. That's why you protect your sources.
And so Cielo Azul, and this is the part that bothers a lot of people when you know you make a claim. The Cielo Azul is like, then why say SHIT anyways? Like, why even say anything?
Okay, this is a good point. Bob Lazar outed himself. Okay, he outed himself to George Knapp and George Knapp's audience. If source A doesn't want his or her name out there because it could affect national security, it could affect their job, their livelihood, their everything, including jail time, but they want to get the information out, who do you leak it to? You leak it to the media. Let's use another sports analogy. Let's say Bronny James doesn't want to play for the Lakers because too much pressure playing with dad. So he says, trade me to Philadelphia. He tells a reporter, man, I can't handle it here. But you didn't hear this from me, but my agent actually is requesting a trade to the East Coast. I want to go home to Cleveland. And so then all of a sudden, the reporter breaks that story because the source itself is telling you that news. All of a sudden, there's a big scrum in the Lakers dressing room around LeBron and Bronny saying, well, I didn't say that comment. I didn't say that comment at all. Like, what do you mean? No, I didn't say that comment. But the reporter got it from the player. Happens all the time. And it's the same thing with politics. It's the same thing with defense. Now, if, let's say, you have to equate Bob Lazar on the same side as you do David Grush or Lou Elizondo. They came out to tell what they could tell. Bob went in more depth than Lou and David ever have. That's the difference.
But doesn't it seems like a source is divulging the information to a journalist to begin with because they want the story out, right? Isn't that the main thought behind it?
Yes.
That they want that information to come out. So why would a journalist, create all this mystique and intrigue behind the information then? And I think that's the whole where the issue is coming up. So the source wants the information to come out. They just don't want their name attached to it.
Right.
And so the journalist should be able to take all that information and bring it out. But but you don't see that. Like in some of these cases, they'll say, I know about a thing, but I can't tell you where. And it's like, if you were told where by the source, then why wouldn't that be part of the story? Why wouldn't that be part of what you're saying? As long as you're not.
Because maybe, okay. How can I put this? I understand with where you're coming from, but if the source says, look, I could tell you this is true, let's go off the record. And if the reporter says, okay, we're off the record, the reporter can betray the source and run the information, or the reporter can keep the source and not run the information. That's why I would not have brought that up. But that's me personally. I'm a little bit more conservative that way. I wouldn't have brought up that story.
Okay, and then Deb, I want to bring up because she had a super chat. She said, Dave and Rob, can you define journalists in your opinion?
People who are trained, not the okay, when I say journalist, okay, I'm not talking about today's garbage. The Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, New York Times bullshit where they are slanted to try and give you an opinion in their story. I'm talking old school journalism. There is a beat, there is a point and counterpoint. Usually you do not run a story unless you have at least two different sources confirming it. So let's say, Rob, you're in California, Gavin Newsom and his press secretary come up to you and tell you, secretly we are booting electric vehicles out of California. We're stopping the purge on gasoline, and we're gonna get rid of all electric vehicles. But you didn't hear that from us.
Okay.
There you have a story. You've had it confirmed twice. You run it. The problem that you have with today's people who have never been a journalist but identify as journalists, since we can make up anything these days, you have the danger of them not being properly trained. I'm not going to say professionally. I'm saying properly trained on how to balance a story from both sides of the equation. Because remember, people, what we have forgotten in society is there's three sides to every story. There's Rob's side, there's Dave's side, and then there's truth down the middle. And today's journalism has gone yellow because we're so about clickbait, I'm offended headlines that we've forgotten, and aha, caught you moments, that's what today's journalists, or fake journalists, like I like to call them, try to do. Whereas a person who is a respected, trained journalist, they know how to put a story together. A story doesn't take 2 days to put together usually. Sometimes it takes months, years for a 4-minute blurb on television or a 40-second story on radio. You have to be trained to write it. You have to learn how to confirm sources. And, you just don't take anything at word. Okay, I could give you an example of me, that there has been shows out there who have claimed that I never worked in radio. And yet the Dean of Broadcasting, where I went to college, came on my show twice. He's confirmed it. My good friend Bruce Claggett, who I worked with in radio, confirmed it. But there's a show out there who claims that I've never worked in radio.
Okay.
You see the difference?
Yeah.
They're going on opinion and not fact. They haven't checked their sources. They haven't worked the phones. They haven't done their due diligence. They don't know how to focus on a topic. There's a lot that goes into it. And this is why I get very upset when I see people in the UFO or Bigfoot world claim to be journalists when they've never worked a day in journalism in their life. Now, citizen journalism is important. It's very important today. More important than ever, and probably more important than today's mainstream legacy media, who has blown their trust with the public. And that is getting the human side of the story out. And tweeting, retweeting things that people are digging more for news today than I've ever seen before. If you take the UFO story, you look at somebody like Joe Mergia or many others on X who are literally somehow digging out obscure comments that say Tim Burchett or Nancy Mace or Carl Nell made on this topic 4 years ago on a tape that or a comment or a report that's never been seen. They are dogged. And that's good citizen journalism. Do they know how to write the story on it? Most don't. But the digging that is happening today, it's fantastic. And that's bodes well for anything. It doesn't matter whether it's UFOs or politics or sports. It bodes well to get proper information out there rather than the bias that we see on everything today. When's the last time you watched a football game on television that had an unbiased opinion?
Right.
So I hope that answers your question, Debaruni.
Oh yeah, and you're the man to answer it. I don't know clue. I mean, I don't. I'm not digging up stories and sources, and I don't have all that at this point. So,
but you're gonna get it though, Rob. Okay, as you continue on and as you continue to build a name for yourself in this field, all of a sudden you may have somebody who let's say when we go to Vegas this year, okay, and all of a sudden we're sitting at a lounge talking UFOs, and all of a sudden somebody says, "Oh, you're into that UFO stuff." Well, let me tell you where I worked. I worked there for 27 years. That's as easy as it goes. And then you start talking to the person. You exchange phone numbers. You start talking to the person. And then they start showing you documentation that they're for real.
Yeah.
Okay. Guess what? Now you have a source.
I do have some people that are friends of family that supposedly work inside of Area 51 currently, and I just haven't acted on it. I was told through a person within the family, so I don't know, but I haven't acted on that. So, situation like that, should I be going to speak to that person? Should I be trying to go make a connection with that person?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. And I want to do this too real quick because I think there may be some trolls in the area. I'm just feeling like it based off of that last person that came up on stage. I see it. I see Hillbilly Herb is backstage. So Hillbilly Herb, reply to me in this YouTube chat and let me know if that's you backstage or not. Hillbilly Herb. Hey, Hillbilly Herb, is that you in the back? Hillbilly Herb, confirm if you're backstage right now or not. Yes, okay. Let me bring you forward because the other person kept changing their name, and that was weird to me. And I think they're trolling for sure.
I don't think they're in the chat room anymore.
Yeah, and they were definitely trolling too. Hillbilly Herb, you there?
Hey there, east of the Rockies. Am I on the line?
You are on the line at the Social Dig right here with Mr. Rob G and Dave Scott. How are you?
Far out, gentlemen. Awesome. Doing all right. Thanks for the opportunity to pop in here, the open platform. It's pretty cool. Kind of hard to follow up that amazing rant from Dave there, that nice little rabbit hole, but excited to be part of the conversation.
Definitely, definitely. Do you have anything you want to add to it, or anything you want to say tonight?
Well, I mean, one thing that sort of caught my brain at the end, I'm trying to slow my heart rate down a little. It was a little harder coming on here than I thought it might be, but when Dave was just saying, this person's saying this person's saying that, you got to choose, which is it? And I've been thinking more and more, we're not really in a dualist reality anymore. It's not A or B. It's not one or zero. It's not UFOs or angels, or it's all of it. It's the government. It's military. It's ET. It's angels. Like, we don't have to pigeonhole one thing or the other anymore. It's a little bit of everything, maybe.
Okay. Okay.
As an aside.
Yeah, I can see that. Um, and are you saying that, meaning that you feel like all the phenomena is all related and all connected? Essentially, is that what you're saying?
It could be all related in some ways, but it's also an issue of, it's not whether that person's right or that person's right. They might actually both be right.
Okay. All right. Do you have an example? Like, give me an example of that, because I understand. I can understand what you're saying, but if you had an example, that'd be great.
I guess just as a example, we could all maybe relate to, in the front, is just, is the UFO phenomena, is it off-world ET? Is it government military ops? Or is it a spiritual religious phenomenon? Or is it phenomenon from an Earth entity herself? It could just be all of that.
Okay. I mean, technically, it could be, especially when we really don't know the answer anyway. I mean, we could definitely speculate. I feel at times that it and I jump down different rabbit holes because of it. But I can understand that, and I can feel that. Do you have anything to say to that, Dave?
Well, I think that's a classic example as to why they switched the acronym from UFO to UAP, is so that way they could give it a an umbrella term that kind of covered everything from man-made objects to non-man-made objects. I personally believe that it's a combination of everything, what we're seeing today. Hillbilly Herb, one of my favorite names in our chat room, by the way.
Much thanks, man.
But I would say that you're on the right track. It's a little bit of everything, It's like Mambo number 5.
And I think that's sort of the exciting thing about this time that we are moving into, is all these possibilities are now realities. Terence McKenna talked about his time wave zero, and it was a concept that was supposed to align with the 2012. And the idea was that we're sort of hitting this point in our time wave. I don't know how to exactly explain it, but it's to do with novelty. And we're in a time where more things can happen than have ever happened before. So the time wave zero was this ultimate novelty where literally anything can happen tomorrow. And I feel like that's where we're at. Like, we get an article tomorrow that says time travel was possible more than just moving entangled particles, or, when you've got something tangible that's being moved from room to room, or like, that wouldn't really be that shocking to suddenly hear these crazy bold leaps in science I mean, we're living in the time of science fiction now. So nothing's really surprising or shocking. It seems we are sort of on this movement to time wave zero and ultimate novelty.
Yeah, I like that. Do you think that? I mean, we within the community, we understand that because we've seen things and we know people have seen things, so we know that pretty much anything, there's nothing that's off the table at this point as far as possibilities of things that are out there. But do you think that changes for the other community, the skeptic community? Do you think their mindset changes in any way with all that on the table, all that evidence out there? Or because I don't think that they do. I don't think that they want to know. I don't think that they care to take the time to realize that all that data is out there. I don't know. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, in a very real way, we create our own reality. And if that's something that's just not in your paradigm and you want to wall it up and block it out, you can live a perfectly fine life, I think, until you can't. I mean, all these strategies of, illusions of reality and blocking off the things that we don't want to see, they work great until we just can't do it anymore. And, you may be at a real low point, you may be sick, who knows, where suddenly you just have this awakening and it takes your feet out and disrupts everything So you don't have to address it now, but you might not get away with never addressing sort of more spiritual, grandiose topics that a skeptic might not want to look at,
I
in
like
my
that.
humble opinion.
Yeah, I like that. You can run, but you can't hide forever. You're gonna have to confront reality at some point when it's staring you in the face, and that is an excellent way to put that.
And I think
Because
that's where you're saying with the experiencers. I mean, that's part of it. When you've seen things that just challenge your faith, and you have to sort it into your own paradigm. That's when things get opened up.
yeah,
Very true.
this very true. Yeah, you're on top of it, Hillbilly Herb, and I appreciate you. And you definitely are welcome to stay as long as you want up here tonight. Um, and just trying to make sure that we navigate through the trolls. Because yeah, I think that first person was definitely a troll, and just had bad feelings. The energy wasn't right. The frequency was low. That's what we'll just say right there. But I'm loving what you're bringing tonight, and anyone else is welcome to join us on the stage. Don't be afraid. It's just Dave Scott. It's just don't be. See, when I'm by myself, then it's like everyone wants to interact. Then with Dave is sitting here, I mean, I know that you have questions for the gentleman. He's right here. You've been listening for years. He's sitting right here. You don't get the chance to do that when we're doing radio format over on the other channel. So we're hanging out, we're kicking back, hanging out, and this will be the perfect time for you to ask something that been burning, itching question that you've had for years. Um, with that being said, but yeah, Hillbilly Herb, glad you're up here. Did you have any other things that you wanted to bring up or talk about while you're on stage? Any other
Yeah, I
part?
mean, I guess if nobody's lined up, I just wanted to get in here because I don't want you to stop doing this. And if nobody's knocking on the door backstage, then you're gonna just be like, well, I guess nobody wants songs. So, but yeah, what was I gonna say? Um, Shoot, it's funny how the brain goes blank. I don't know how. I guess what I was thinking is I don't know how I never knew about spaced out radio for 10 years. It's kind of I was a big coast to coast fan. And at the start of in Toronto, we get it on AM radio, so that's kind of how I was able to listen. Somehow I didn't know about the Mississauga station, and at the start of the pandemic, they stopped airing coast to coast, and we only got pandemic 24/7 disaster news. So I kind of lost this type of content,
Wow,
and man, there were a lot of late, long, dark nights during lockdowns that would have been awesome to know about this community.
wow, that is awesome story
Are you
there.
are you in Toronto?
Yes, sir.
Oh,
Don't
sorry to hear.
judge.
Sorry to hear that.
East Coast, West Coast, banging. Okay, I see what we're doing here.
Yeah.
I've spent a little time. I lived in Horseshoe Bay when I was in Vancouver for a little while.
Oh,
And man,
nice.
what a lifestyle out there. I loved every second of it.
Oh, yeah.
How
Horseshoe.
new are you to Space Out Radio, Hillbilly Herb?
I would say I've probably only been listening maybe a month, maybe a couple months. It just somehow
Oh,
I came up in my algorithm on my homepage a little while ago, and you guys are on every night pretty near. So dang, it's pretty cool.
Dave, the algorithm works apparently.
Hey, we got one. We got
I,
We
one.
got one.
I will say, and I'm not trying to be a downer, but maybe as some constructive criticism, the first couple times I came into the show, it was on a break and there wasn't anything happening. So I didn't know. So I kind of waited for a minute and I didn't know what was going on. And then I got my timing right eventually.
Yeah, understandable. Appreciate
Changing
all.
that will be changed.
Yep, yep. We've been talking about that, and yeah, appreciate that. That perspective on that. We also have. I want to bring up on stage here some Dave, just a great person here. Just when and you guys go back, you and this person here, some years. So we'll go ahead and bring her up right now. None other than Deb from Sacramento.
Deborah Rooney.
Hi guys, can you hear me?
We can hear you. You're
Who
on with
is this
Okay.
caller? Who is this caller? Who is this?
It's Deborah
Oh.
Rooney, the one from San Francisco that got the dance named after her.
Oh, yeah. Who is this caller? Please clarify.
Yeah, you might not recognize my voice tonight. I got a bit of a head cold and I sound like Kermit the Frog, so please excuse me.
that's funny. Deb from San Francisco, right? That's what he calls you, right?
Yeah. So,
Sure.
is it okay to speak?
Let's
Yeah.
do it.
Okay. Well, Dave, first of all, I wanted to say I've only been part of your audience for about 3 years now, almost 3 years. And the first time I came over, I got a very warm welcome from Kira and immediately felt within a short time part of the SOR family. And I know we've had a bump along the road at one point, but I've always appreciated your honesty, your humility, and allowing us to just be ourselves and who we are and not chastise us for it. And if there is a problem, you always address it openly. You don't just butcher people and dismiss them. And I really appreciate you as a person.
Well, thank you. You're a sweetheart. You
I
really
try.
That is,
I try.
I mean, even though you got 6 toes on 1 foot,
Yeah.
that's okay. That's okay.
Joe's in chat saying, "Oh crap, it's Deb." Hey, you guys, you need to call Joe Monk out and have him call in one of these times, like tonight would be good.
Joe
Joe
Monk.
will go on camera and show off his hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The link is in the chat. We can have, I think, up to 10 people. So you're more than welcome to come on up.
Yeah, Monk, get on here. Get on here. Deb, I just want to say something about you. I get your humor, and I think that's why I really enjoy watching your posts and all of that. And there's something that you might not know about me, Deb. Okay, and that is when I really, really, really like someone, I nickname them. I nickname
Okay.
I nickname almost everybody because in one way or another, they have made themselves special to me.
Oh, thank you, sweetie.
All
I
right.
appreciate it.
You're Deborah Rooney.
Oh, I love the nickname.
It's like to Joe's Maine, Sweet Robbie G, Little Timmy, James, Terry Hall, my 3 a.m. MFer, the lovely and talented Kira. It's my way. And I don't say this to sound sad, okay? But I'm very open about my depression and anxiety. And it's my way of showing the specialty that I have, or a special place that I have for you as a listener and many, 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 many others out there who have taken the time to get to know me, support me, sharing the show, sharing Rob's show, supporting Rob. It's my way of saying thank you that nobody knows.
Well, I appreciate that. And your reach out on social media too is not unnoticed as well. You and Dave Schrader both have that gift. You're both very interactive. You follow up with your listeners. You're part of this community, literally. And whether it's Facebook or Twitter or wherever, and you're connected to us constantly. And we appreciate that because it shows us that you care. So that's another, feather in your cap. And I put you and Dave Schrader both on the same level in that respect. And it's nice to feel that, because sometimes on some channels we don't feel it. We're just there to listen to someone bloviate and brag about themselves and hopefully collect a few super chats, but they really don't acknowledge or spend time with their audience. It's all about them. And so you guys are rare in that. Well, I shouldn't say super rare, but you are rare in that aspect, and your audience really appreciates you for that too.
Well, I appreciate the love, Deb. I really, really do. And we do our best. And sometimes, we're fortunate where most of the time we win, and there are times when we don't. And if the winning exceeds the losing, we're doing pretty good.
I agree. Well, here's aside from wanting to express my appreciation from you, the reason I called in, I always like to have some sort of story or theme. And what I want to do is share a very memorable Thanksgiving story briefly of mine. And then I'd like you guys, everyone here on the panel and chat, to share maybe something memorable, whether it's a funny story, because these holidays are all about memories with family and friends. And that's kind of where I wanted to take this, if that's okay.
That is absolutely fine. I'll bring up, we have another person I'm bringing up with us as well. Lovely Love, Dr. Love. And so we're all up on the screen, and you can go ahead and start whenever you're ready, Deb.
Okay. Well, mine is what I consider a funny story in retrospect. It wasn't at the time, but it was one of our first Thanksgivings at our new home, in my mom's home. I was like a teenager helping her cook dinner. We were having like 20 people over for dinner, the family, and we were just getting everything set out and ready to go. And like in every family, there's the dark sheep that you invite, the alcoholic uncles and whoever. And unfortunately, when we were serving out the food this year, I was putting some gravy out of the pot into the gravy, the gravy tray. And my uncle, my Uncle Jim, who's now departed, he was already drunk, and he came over here, sweetheart, let me help you with that. He attempts to pick up the whole pot of gravy, slips, drops the whole pot of gravy. It goes all over the kitchen floor, everywhere. People are slipping and falling, and there was no gravy for dinner, literally, because he spilled all of it. And there was no gravy for Thanksgiving. And so everyone was mad at him. And I was mad at first, but then I just started thinking about the irony of it. And I started laughing, and people were mad at me because I was laughing about it. But I love gravy too on my food. What's Thanksgiving without gravy on everything, So that was a real kind of funny memory. And, when he finally did depart, he was greatly missed. But you've always got that memory of that uncle or that family member who kind of, everyone will say he ruined everything. But that particular, year, I found it kind of humorous. So that was kind of one of my fun memories.
That's awesome.
That is hilarious. I have people in my family that are just adept to doing things like that as well. So it's just hilarious. We call them in our family, it might sound harsh, but it's not. It's a loving term. We call them side busters. Like that's a side buster move sort of thing. It's like because you're laughing so hard, your side is busting. So
yes,
I totally get that. That's awesome.
yeah.
And so you're asking Thanksgiving stories. So funny or what type from everyone else?
Whatever everyone feels. I mean, it can be funny, sentimental, whatever. That's just my memory. But our memories can be all kinds of different things.
You got one day Canadian Thanksgiving?
Probably. Now I have to go back because you guys are fast forward in time. Probably whether it's my partner, my lovely departed mother, or my grandmother, somebody every year forgets the peas in the microwave. They put the peas in the microwave to store them to keep, so that way they could cook on other elements on the stove. And then everybody goes and eats dinner. And then at the end of dinner, the microwave is open and the peas come out. Happens every year.
That's funny. That's hilarious. That happens here often. Yeah. How about you, Billy Herb?
Not gonna lie, I've been kind of
Okay.
panicking, kind of trying to come up with something. The holidays are a little bit raw, but since we're all about making new memories and reclaiming our holidays for ourselves, I thought it might be worth mentioning that the last few days, when everyone's been talking about Thanksgiving, I've been craving a turkey club like nobody's business. So I went out to the grocery store. It was about midnight the other night, just before they closed, and there was a perfect turkey breast sitting right there. I grabbed it. I grabbed a pack of bacon. I grabbed some nice fresh bakery bread. Took it home. Roasted the turkey breast the other night while the show was on, and made that sandwich yesterday. And holy smokes, was it ever worth the dreaming and the work and the destroying of the kitchen and everything. It was so good. So that's my new Thanksgiving memory.
That sounds pretty delicious, actually. Yeah, I could go for one of those right now. Do you have a Sprouts in your town? A Sprouts grocery store?
No.
Ah, okay. Wherever you see a Sprout, if you're on traveling anywhere, if you see a Sprouts, they have this deli inside of the grocery store. It's almost like a Trader Joe's sort of store, but they have this deli in there that makes the best sandwiches ever. So anyone out there that has a Sprouts in your area, go there and get one of their deli sandwiches. They're like $5. One of the best sandwiches that you'll ever have anywhere. Better than Subway, better than anywhere I've tasted a deli sandwich. So you made me think of that when you said the turkey sandwich, because that's what I get when I go there. But for
Nice.
me, shoot, just Thanksgiving is for me. I don't really get into the food there. So here's one thing: the highlight for me. It isn't anymore now that I'm older. My auntie used to make this no bake strawberry cheesecake every year, and I she would make one especially for me because she knew how much I loved it. And then as I got older, she told me she was going to stop making it for me, and that she sat me down one year and showed me how to make it, gave me the ingredients. But I told her, I was like, as long as you're on this planet,
Not
I'm not
doing it.
to make. Yeah, you're gonna. I want you to make it. That's the whole part of the magic. Like, I don't want to start making it now, but I live so far away from her. I'm sure she would do it still, but I just haven't had an opportunity. I haven't thought about that too for a few years because I've been missing that pie, and I just, you know, Deb has made me think about that right now. So that's pretty awesome. So thank you for that,
It's
Deb.
amazing how many. Yeah, it's amazing how many of our memories circle around food with the holidays. The first
Yeah,
thing, I mean, you think Thanksgiving, you immediately start thinking about food, and Christmas too.
yeah.
It's
Why do you
it's one of
think
the
that?
best parts of it.
Yeah, do you think it's comfort? What do you like? I don't know. Is it part of the
Yeah.
reason America's obese?
It's a little bit like
Well,
you're
no,
saving up
America.
all the good stuff.
Say that
Yeah,
again.
exactly. We're waiting for that one holiday to finally binge a little and have fun.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I'm a dressing guy too. I gotta have dressing, not
Oh,
stovetop
yeah.
dressing. Needs to be dressing. Needs to have gravy. The only
Yep.
thing I really eat at Thanksgiving, truthfully, I stay away from the turkey. I go for the ham. I get the ham, and I go for the dressing. I go for the cranberry sauce, and we will have like collard greens here. Got a pot of them in there right now that I probably should be indulging in as well. But that's what I go for. I leave everything else for everybody else. I don't touch anything else.
Rob, do you take that combination and like mix it all together into like a mash and eat it all at once?
Of course.
There you go.
That's the only way. That's
Exactly.
the only way. I could only have, the dressing with the gravy with the cranberry sauce, and that all has to be mixed, mashed in to where it's like a not soupy, but sort of, you know what I mean. And then get a piece of ham, sit down top, and then the biscuits. There's a certain type of biscuit that we have.
Don't forget the biscuit.
Yeah, exactly. And I forget that they're not Hawaiian biscuits. They're the little small biscuits. If you know it, the ones look like your typical biscuit. Oh God, I should know the name. But you put those in the oven and you get those just a little bit warm and crispy. And then
Are you talking about crescent rolls?
they're not crescent rolls. They look like just little muffins almost.
Oh, the Hawaiian muffins.
See, but they're I think the Hawaiians are sweet, right? These ones aren't.
They are.
These ones
Yeah.
aren't sweet.
I'm stumped. See, there's your trivia question.
Exactly. I'll remember. I'll find out actually, and then by tomorrow's show, I'll say it during break because
one of my favorite things to do. Rob, one of my favorite things to do, you always have that person that's, well, a couple people, they'll be very meticulous. They won't just mash everything together. They keep everything separate on their plate and they're portioning it and they only eat from one pile at a time. I love to like walk around and go, oh, here, let me get you a little more gravy on that. I'll take the opportunity to take their plate from them and go put something on it and mix it all together and bring it back in a big pile and they get all pissed off.
I totally don't know those people. Those people who if anything touches that next thing, they don't want the plate anymore. I don't get
Oh, I know, they get furious. I think it's hilarious.
Do you understand? It all mixes inside of your stomach. Like you do understand that in your throat, or as it goes down your esophagus, it's all mixed together. Like, do we understand that, or what's the weird?
I guess they don't. It's really strange. They just get furious though if you touch their plate and you mix anything together. So that's why I like doing it.
Yeah. Now I'll say this. This is actually pretty funny and it's kind of sad too at the same time. But I don't know if anybody else out there has those relatives. And this is only when you are the host for Thanksgiving, but you'll have those relatives that will come to your house on Thanksgiving. And the first thing they do is they go in the kitchen and they make a to-go plate. They make a to-go plate first. Go put that up, put it in their car, wherever they're going to store their plate. And then they come in and have their sit down and eat plate. I'm like, I don't get that. I don't.
That is so rude. That is so rude.
Thank you. I thought.
I mean, it's like, hey, you got your plate. Why don't you just go now? Then bye. There's the door.
Mine is Auntie Mary. She has to try something on your plate if she sees it. Oh, that looks really good. Do you mind if I try some? Just go get some yourself.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. That's what family's for. You know what they say, you can pick your friends, you can't pick your family.
Oh,
so
sadly.
But we love them, right? Love them anyway.
We love them at a distance, from a distance too, most of the time.
Yeah, once and twice a year. Exactly. Those awkward Thanksgivings.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just kidding. I love what family I have left. I love them all dearly, no matter how weird they are. I'm the weird one though. The first thing I get asked at dinner is, "So Deb, how are the aliens doing?" And I'm like, "Great." I have Skinny Bob, and they don't even know who Skinny Bob is. So,
Oh, I don't know if Dave is in on that. Dave, Deb has Skinny Bob at her house right now, captive. Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, He's come
Well,
on.
I adopted him years ago. I raised Skinny Bob, so he's not skinny anymore, though. He's very obese.
Look,
Yeah.
oh, I don't have the. I would play the clip because I have the clip, but I don't have it right. Oh my
Hey,
god.
there's Joe Monk. I see Monk on screen.
Yeah, Joe Monk.
Whoa!
Appreciate you
I
coming
gotta
on.
get a look at this hair.
And Magneticus Attractus as well. Thanks for joining us.
Yep. Am I loud?
Of course. No, are you loud or are you allowed?
No, well, you know me. It's either I sound like I'm 10 million miles away or I'm really loud. So.
Oh no, you're good. You're good. You're loud.
All right. Good. Yeah, I was trying to figure out who the other face was there, but Deb told me, so now I know.
Yeah. We got Hillbilly Herb up here for the first time, and Joe Monk actually for the first time up here. Joe Monk has been here as well many times. We'd love to hear Joe Monk's voice.
Glad to be here, Rob.
There we go.
There's that deep
Just
mountain
the first thing I
head
wanted to
voice.
say was that if I had a relative came in and made a to-go plate and took it out to their car, I would lock the door.
Send the baby shark after him.
Let's start
Big
doing
shark.
that.
Baby shark.
The funny thing is that we live so like 4 hours away from those relatives, and then that particular relative called us on Thanksgiving Day and was like, "Oh, I'm on my way." It was at like 1 or 2 o'clock, and then everyone in the house was like, "Oh, do they have to come? I mean, do they?" And I was like, "If they come, just make sure that they don't make that, that to-go plate first, and then everything will be okay." But then they called back and was like, I guess too late in the day, so they canceled, said they wouldn't come. Everybody was like, "Roo." The kids, everybody was like, relieved. And it's because who does that? You know what I mean? Do you do that? Who does that?
I might start doing that.
That's just wrong.
That is totally wrong on so many levels.
Well, maybe if they weren't invited back, they'd get the hint and stop doing it.
But look, you come and make a to-go plate and then go get food, and you didn't even bring any food. You just coming to indulge, and then so you think it's proper etiquette to come in and not just make a to-go plate, but make one that could barely fit in the to-go container for one. And
But
then
you didn't even try it yet. You don't even know if you like it.
exactly, you don't even know if you like, but they know they know when they come and eat stuff. They know.
Man, how poor are they?
You would think that they are, but they aren't. They are.
Well, I guess you know why they aren't, don't you?
Right.
So,
I guess
go to other
Mhm.
people's house and take a week's worth of food and then eat some while you're there.
There you go. That makes sense.
What about the
That's so
relatives? Like they come and eat, they show up like 10 minutes before dinner, then they eat and they leave like 15 minutes after dinner.
Oh yeah, know those too. Know those, and they just seem to know the day that you're cooking. They know the day for some reason they know, and they just pop up right as soon as dinner is about to be served, and they come in, and of course you feed them, they eat, and then they don't stick around long at all. Yeah, they're gone right after they eat. Oh, I know those people, Dave. I don't know how they know. I don't know how they know.
My family is just the opposite. They show up, they never leave. Actually, this year it was kind of interesting. Everybody was making sourdough bread at the place everyone was going to meet, and someone tested positive for the thing that you can't say. And, so that pretty much put a big kibosh on the whole Thanksgiving thing this year for us. And I just had to stay home with the baby shark.
Baby shark.
Did you make Baby Shark something good to eat, Joe? And let me just say, you look exactly like I imagined you, for the record.
Thank you, Deb, you stalker. Yeah, baby shark got half of my ham.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
That's love. With cranberry on it?
No, cranberries are evil.
Okay.
Ah,
Baby Shark's very spoiled and well loved, so good for her.
Is Baby Shark your baby?
It's a
Baby
dog.
Shark is my little baby Rottweiler. She's curled
Okay.
up on my feet right now. You know, like I said, I sit outside. I'm outside right now watching the show, just like I always have for the last 10 years. And she keeps me safe from all the bears and the Bigfoot and everything. Lets me know when stuff is out here.
Yeah.
Joe, do me a favor.
Yes.
Tell this story about how you hated me at first, and then that photograph that changed your mind about it.
All right. This was many years ago. And I was in a motorcycle accident. I broke my back in 8 places. And I was recovering, still learning how to walk. And I'm just sitting outside. And I thought, let me try this internet thing and look for some podcasts that might be interesting. And I ran across this guy named Dave Scott. He was broadcasting out of a van down by the river, had about 6 people watching. And I listened to him. It was kind of interesting. And I really wasn't into the woo and all of that stuff. And then I started listening. And on one hand, I'm one of those people who think most people are full of shit. And I wasn't sure about Dave because I've heard a lot of stories. But the more I listened to him, the more I started thinking, maybe there's something here. Maybe he's got a good story to tell. But I still thought he was full of shit because I don't trust anyone. Dave picked up on that. And God, this is almost 10 years ago. Yeah, you were doing your blog talk radio. That's how long ago it was. Dave said, "Hey, Joe, you think I'm full of shit? You're outside, right?" And I said, "Yes." He knows I have a camera because I used to post photos and stuff. He said, "Get up, walk out about 20 feet, turn to your right, and take a photograph and tell me what you see." I thought, okay, this is the most interesting thing I've been involved with in a while. And I walked out, took the photo, walked back over to my chair, and I sat down. And I'll be damned if there aren't 3 sets of glowing red eyes. And where they're at, I even sent Dave the photograph in the daytime the next day. These were not owls. They weren't raccoons. They weren't squirrels. These were wide set eyes. And where they were, something had to have been standing at least 10, 11 foot tall, maybe. And I kind of thought, well, maybe this Dave guy, either he got really lucky or maybe he's a little bit psychic here. And it kind of sold me on Dave. And that was 10 years ago, and I've been with him ever since.
I even sent you a case of kokanee beer.
Yes, Dave sent me a case of kokanee beer, and yes, they do have little Bigfoots on them. You got to look for them because they're in different places.
Okay.
Okay,
So,
Dave.
If I could
You-
ask Dave, how did you know to tell him to look outside, or did you what was going on in your mind?
I was a lot more into my intuitiveness back then. And I wanted to convince Joe that I wasn't full of shit. And I don't know why that was important to me, but it was.
Because Dave loves me.
And so I figured I would freak him out a little bit. And
So that was like a tulpa?
no, I just knew he was going to catch something on camera.
Interesting.
And I didn't expect 3 of them to be there because there is 3 sets of eyes, all at different levels. And Joe, I wish we could post, because I know you keep all your photos. I wish we could post those 2 photos, man.
I have to look for those. I have them on my old computer, but it died, and I transferred all the photos over to a hard drive, and I haven't looked to see if they're there. But it's interesting. One of the sets, you can look in the daytime, And where the eyes were, there's a drop off, and it's maybe 10 foot behind the rock. So if something was standing on the ground, it had to been 10 foot up. I'm a big guy and I can't reach up and reach the top of the rock. And something was a head taller than the rock with wide spaced red eyes. And then there was one further back behind it. And in fact, Dave even thought he saw something up in a tree and he swore it was an alien. I do live in a weird place. Weird things happen here. But I'll look for that photo.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Joe, speaking of weird things, happening, would it be okay to ask you about your scratches?
Oh yeah, that's another one.
Oh yeah, the scratches. I sent those photos to Dave. I think I even sent them to Rob. This is about 10 days ago or so. I stayed up pretty late, maybe 5:30 in the morning. I said, I'm gonna go lay down for a minute. I don't sleep much. And at about 7:00, my knee started bothering me. I was like, what the hell's going on here? And it woke me up. I got up and I looked, and right on the inside of my right knee, I had these 3 parallel, perfectly straight suture marks. It looks like someone had cut into me. They were about 4 inches long. And it almost looked like there were little stitches on the sides of them, like I'd had surgery and they'd been stitched up. But they weren't bleeding or anything. It was very hard to see. I walk outside, smoke a cigarette, sitting there. And about 2 hours later, I look down and they're bleeding. All of them. And they got worse and worse. And it hurt like hell for about 5-6 days. I have no idea what it was. There's nothing in the bed that could have scratched me. The dog was out in the living room sleeping. I don't know what it was. It's just one of those weird things. But it's not the first time I've been scratched. God, this goes way back, Dave. Dave had a guest on many years ago. God, I don't know, one of the early days. And maybe you can tell me how long ago it was. The guy had a coin experiment. He said, put a stack of coins next to your bed. And keep in your mind that if something comes into the middle of the night, you'll knock the coins over. So if you wake up in the morning and the coins are knocked over, that means the aliens came by or the demons came by or the ghosts came by, whatever it was. And I've been running that experiment ever since. So it's almost 8 years or so. Fast forward, I wake up one day. I look over, the coins are knocked over. And they've been sitting where they were for years. I thought, well, that's kind of strange. Throw my legs out of bed and I look down and I have 3 huge claw marks that go from my ankle all the way up to my knee, and they're bleeding. It's like, what the hell is this? I thought it was strange. I still didn't put 2 and 2 together. Got up, walked around. About an hour or so later, I said, you know what? I'm going to go out and check my game cams on my property. I always keep them out because there's bear and there's cougars and there's mountain lions and deer, bobcats. We got everything up here. And hopefully one of these days, maybe I'd capture a Bigfoot or something. I do have some weird photos, but I went out to check the game cam. I look at the game cam and the front of it's kind of messed up. It's kind of broken. And I'm looking at it saying, this is weird. Take it back in, pull the chip out. Everything is fine. And then at one point, there's some weird white flashes. There's some big long hairs on a photograph, and then nothing. And I looked at it. I couldn't get it to work. I couldn't get it to turn back on after that. It's a Browning camera. It's a good quality camera. I actually sent it back to the factory. They sent me back a letter that said, you know, we've had all our techs looking at this. We have no idea what happened. We can't figure out what's going on with this camera. We've never seen anything like this. And they sent me 2 brand new cameras. And I thought, well, okay, that's kind of weird. So on the same morning, I had the coins knocked over. the scratch marks in my leg, and the camera out there in my yard destroyed. Coincidence? I don't know.
That's the
Just a
perfect
little-
trifecta.
Yeah, it's a trifecta. Something weird happened.
Yep. Does any of this frighten you?
Oh, not at all. Nothing up here
Good.
has ever frightened me.
Good. That's why you're the mountain man.
Well, that's the thing, if there are Bigfoot up here, they say they're psychic. I always say, okay, you guys can do what you want. Just leave me and my dog alone. You can walk through the property. I don't care. The aliens, that's something else.
The
I still want
Bigfoot. Joe, tell the story about how the Bigfoot used to come to your horses.
Oh yeah, I had a quarter horse named Casey. He was a big old thing. He was more like a dog than a horse. He'd get out of his corral. He would come up into the garage. He'd look through the windows of the house. He wouldn't run away. And there were a lot of times where I'd go out to feed him in the morning, and I'd look and I says, "Oh, you got your mane is all tangled up here." And I'd go and look, and it wasn't tangled. The mane, it's like somebody sat there and they would braid the hair. And at the end, there was a little tie off. Sometimes it was a group of like 3 hairs, or some of the more intricate ones, they had like 4 different hairs going back and forth. I don't know how you girls do all that stuff with the braiding, but it's kind of complicated. These weren't tangled. Someone was out in the corral braiding Casey's hair, his mane. And for a long time, I couldn't figure it out. And then I started listening to Dave, and it all kind of made sense.
Why do they do that, Dave?
There's 2 common reasons that I've learned about this. Number 1, they love horses. And number 2, they try to breed with the horses.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Any old port in a storm.
Wow.
I've never heard that before.
Me either. That's a first.
I'd be afraid of getting a hoof in the head.
Man, breaking news, because that's new to me.
So
That'd be a
Dave is
big hook.
braiding the hair. Is that like a courting ritual or something?
No.
Foreplay or huh?
It's like sexual assault of a horse.
Okay.
Yeah, I've heard that. That always disturbed me because I just feel bad if Casey got, bigfooted.
Wow.
That's your soul, brother.
But on the other hand, the Bigfoot, supposedly they all have long hair. Maybe they braid each other's hair. I mean, I'd love to see a photo of a Bigfoot with, braided hair and dreads or something,
That is freaking awesome. Hey, James White from the Santee Dakota Nation out there in the crowd. I see you out there. Thanks for coming in tonight. And I know he's joining us from Facebook Hills, so I appreciate you coming in, Jim White, and joining us tonight. Also, Dry Toast. I do see you out there as well. Thanks for coming in, Joey Glowy. Thank you for coming in. Mackie M10, good to see you. Good to see you. Cypher, good to see you as well. I just want to let anyone know, if you, the lurkers as well, if you currently haven't subscribed to the channel, we would appreciate if you would do that. Just go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We have 3 shows a week that we do here, and conversations get really real at times. So definitely something you might want to consider coming back and being a part of. So we'd appreciate that. And also, if you guys wouldn't mind, everyone who's here, you just take a moment and hit the like button or the dislike, depending on how you feel about the show. And we'll go ahead and continue from there. I would totally appreciate that. Thank you very much. All right. So with that being said, Man, Joe Monk, awesome stuff. It's always great and Hillbilly Herb as well. I sit up here and we have guests that come up often, like Magneticus. He's always up here for sure. Deb has
Not
been
always.
not always, but a lot. And
Yeah.
Deb from SAC has been up here multiple times. Love Be Love has been up here and even shown her face on camera, which was also awesome. Area 51 has been up here, but it's always good to see new names up here. That's kind of what this platform is for, is to get the other people to come up on stage. And Joe Monk and Hillbilly Herb, I think you guys hopefully have motivated or inspired some others to take that next step and come up and just have a conversation. We're just all people having a great conversation. Thank you, and Joanne, for your awesome support of the show tonight. We do appreciate you always and forever, and I love it and appreciate it definitely. Let me see. Yeah, was just feeling good. I just really appreciate it because this after show, this late night calling show is, I don't have anything drummed up or set up like I do for the other shows. The Social Dig, I've done research, I've written things up, and I have things to show and talk about. This show right here is just free for all kind of kickback. Hey, let's all have a conversation sort of situation. So I really do appreciate everyone that takes a part in it and kind of helps make that go. And also Dave Scott coming in tonight, man. That was awesome and unexpected, dude. I'm just totally excited for that, man. And I would love to get you back on, Dave, because we have this my experience with the Phenomena shows, like an hour show. We'd love to have you come and talk about your experience with Phenomena. That would be awesome to get in the books. And that invitation is open for everybody out there, because my experience with Phenomena is a show designed for you guys to come up and tell your story on a actual show where it's very well done. So you can go in the archive here and check out the previous episodes we've done, and that way we can get you booked. Booksocialshow@gmail.com is where you would email me at. That's booksocialshow@gmail.com. Send me the email there, give me a brief description of your experience, and then let's go ahead and set up the show. Other than that, yeah, we're gonna keep doing these, and you will see me on After Hours tomorrow night with Andrew Rasowicz. We had him here about a month or so ago. You guys loved him, and he's back tomorrow, so it should be awesome conversation. And with that being said, I kind of want to go ahead and get things wrapped up. I know it's late for a lot of people.
Hey, Rob.
Yeah.
Just while we have Dave here, and I don't often get to talk to him.
Yeah, for sure.
I saw the video yesterday for Dave in his 10th year, and I just have to say that Dave is an amazing person.
Yes,
he has a great show. I've seen it go through some stumbles over the years. It has grown and grown, and it's almost right up there with Art Bell. And not only does Dave have his awesome ability to talk to people and the guests and everybody that he has on, but something that nobody has mentioned is that he's brought all these people together, like Deb and Magneticus and all the people that are here every night to be with Dave and to be with each other. And for that, I salute you.
That is true.
Thank you, Joe. Appreciate you.
Can I ask a dumb question while we got Dave here?
Yeah, definitely.
So, what was that? I want to say Jonathan Reed in Washington. That had like videos of like UFOs and stuff up in the woods here. Do you know, Dave?
Yeah.
Was it Dr. Jonathan Reed? Is that right? I know it's Reed, but I can't remember the first name.
Yeah, Jonathan Reed.
Okay. Yeah. because I know I made a video years ago, but I had to take it down because YouTube got, if little Johnny makes this and kills himself, it's your fault. So I had to remove him. But yeah, there was effects in that video that somebody pointed me in his direction, and I looked at his videos, and I'm like going, oh wow, the radiation from my device is causing the same effect in, you know, his footage. So it was really weird because it was like, so like, we'll turn on the camera here, right? So just imagine on my camera or on the screen, this much of the screen is pink. It's just pink. Or maybe it was like this much of the screen is pink. And then on the actual, like, the feed, or, you know, on the camera screen, you'd see all these little lines going along the bottom of it, right? My camera lasted exactly 30 seconds. And like, it would just go like, you'd see like, I'd be here, but instead of moving to over here, it'd just go from looking here to looking here, but you could hear me just like I'm talking right now. And yeah, that's how I got introduced to him, was because of that video that, yeah, my camera lasted 24 seconds. I think is how long the camera lasted before the battery was dead, and never held a charge after that. So
Creepy, freaky. How did you get introduced to Dave? Magneticus?
Me?
Yeah.
Magnetic Universe. Magnetic Universe at Edward Lee Scullin forums.
A forum?
Yeah. Okay. He does a lot of stuff with Edward Lee Scullin down in Coral Castle, Florida.
No, so that's where you found out about Spaced Out Radio, Dave Scott?
No, that's how, well, the guy behind the forum at Coral Castle is how I got introduced to Dave Scott. He just, like, if you're into like UFOs and stuff, you know, come check Dave Scott out. So I did. And then the first time I was there, Dave Scott was telling everybody to meet me out back afterwards to sign autographs or something, you know? So
yeah, that's right there. See, Robbie, signing those autographs is important.
Yeah, you know, I mean, that's one thing Rob's done since the beginning, is he usually shouts out everybody just like you do, you know? I mean, sometimes I'm lurking, so you're not going to shout me out if I don't say anything, you know? But sometimes I'm sitting there quietly in the background, sometimes not, sometimes sleeping. You know, like tonight, I was sleeping. I'm not going to lie. Woke up with 10 notifications on my phone of everybody on YouTube posted a video about this or that. And so, you know, I try to catch up, catch what I can.
We appreciate you, Magneticus. D. Cypher says, I heard of Dave after I did the survey for Ray Hernandez. Someone was talking about his show. It was awesome to figure out where everybody, you know, individual people have heard about the show, where they ran into the show. You know, myself, I was in the world of digging into ufology after this, way before my experience, probably 3-4 years ago, and I was watching shows like UCR, Thomas Fessler, and then I came across Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott, and it was the weekend show with Grant Davius Max when Grant was still hosting the weekend show. And then I didn't, you know, I started watching and I saw Dave, and I'm like, okay. I didn't understand in the beginning that it was a radio show either. Like a lot of people, you kind of got to tell them that first time. But once I started getting into it, then it was definitely on my list. And then it's the only one that to this day, because all those other shows have gone or in the rear view, and the only one still standing out from everything else, Spaced Out Radio. Then I happen to meet the guy, and he brings me in, and the rest is history. And we have so many more places to go. And it's going to be awesome and amazing. I can promise all of you that we work so hard behind the scenes trying to make sure that we have a game plan for the future. And it's just about executing that game plan. Dave well knows the meetings that we've had, and I'm sure we're due for one soon. But Space Out Radio is not going anywhere. We're just going to be kicking butt for the next 10 years. So, with that being said, did anybody else want to drop a line for Dave Scott while you have him here right now?
Can I say something really quick, Rob? Because I'm going to sign off here.
Yes.
I first heard about Spaced Out Radio from Kira. She'd be on another channel and she'd pop in usually about halfway through, and then towards the end she'd be like, well, we're going to start Spaced Out Radio in 5 minutes, and she'd invite me and others to come over, and that was because of Kira. That's how I found out about Spaced Out Radio and started popping in shortly after that. So I appreciate that and her outreach to everybody.
It's awesome.
Shout out to Kira. We know Hillbilly Herb has explained to us, and so everyone up here has given the origin story, Dave. So we'll leave the last word with you.
I'm just very thankful for everything that our listeners have done, that you guys have done this weekend to make life and this all very special. It means the world to me. And I will be back Monday night. Start it all over again.
Monday.
We own the next
Enjoy
10
your day
years.
off tomorrow.
I'm planning on sitting down and watching football and sleeping on my recliner.
There you go.
Well, I will be back at after hours tomorrow, 8 p.m. So you guys will be there. And once again, anybody who's listening in who hasn't subscribed to this channel, please consider doing so. It's just one click of a button. Hit the notification bell, let you know next time we go live and get this thing kicked off. You can jump. We have an archive here too. A lot of awesome conversations have happened. A lot of tough conversations have happened, and a lot more will be going on in the future. So we'd love to see you back. Outside of that, I want to thank my panel. You guys have been all awesome. Thank you so much for making the show tonight. And you guys all have a great rest of your night. And I'm going to wrap up the show.
Thank you, Robbie G. Love you. Love all you guys. I'm going to tap out.
You guys all take care. See
Right
you.
on. Thanks so much.
Yep. All right. Awesome. I love it. Totally awesome show. Awesome panel, man. You guys are just the best. Let me go ahead and get out of here music. Yes. Oh. The Social Dig late night calling show. Another great episode. And there's going to be people to catch this on the replay, and that is totally cool too. I do appreciate everyone who, 1:14 in the morning here in California. I do appreciate you guys staying up with us and, having the conversation, because where else are we going to have them, right? There's tough conversations. There's many more conversations left to have. And we're going to be the ones to have it. We're going to be heading the conversation. So thank you so much for all your support tonight as well. Let me go ahead and go over the list here. We had Richard Minnick showing love tonight. Thank you so much. Latchkey Hustle. Appreciate you. We're going to be doing something soon, Latchkey, for sure. Thanks for your support. Fast Hemi, I appreciate you supporting tonight, showing your love and showing up. Thank you very much. Dev from Sacramento, appreciate you. And we'll get to some trivia. Let's do that next week, Dev, for sure. But thank you for your support and multiple efforts of support here. I do appreciate you. It's awesome, forever awesome. And Joanne, I do appreciate you as well. You guys are kicking butt for the show tonight. And just making sure that this is a place that we can keep going and keep making this thing happen. I'm enthused. I'm fully enthused just as much as I was on the very first day. And it's just going to continue to be that way going forward. We had an awesome conversation, an enlightening conversation tonight over at Spaced Out Radio with Debs Shakti. If you missed that show, you definitely want to go over to Spaced Out Radio and check out that show. I mean, every time we get together, it is what it is. And we're going to be doing some more of that. So tomorrow night, make sure you're there for Andrew Razzlewick. I would suggest go watch the first interview we did a couple months ago. Awesome dude, awesome energy, great conversation. We're going to do it again tomorrow. So definitely want to thank everybody for coming on in. You guys, like I said, this doesn't happen without you. You guys are the reason why this goes. And we have a lot more to come. I talked about, or I put in the community tab something about social bits, which will be pre-recorded content, things of that nature. So I'm working out on a few videos. I'll be doing the editing myself currently, but we're going to get some of that out there too. Some short form, 10-minute, bite-sized kind of content pieces, original pieces. And I'll be sending that to the members just so you guys can kind of check it out, vet it, make sure it's okay before we just have it, come out on the main stage. So with that being said, I want to thank everybody for showing your love here and being here tonight. My name is Mr. Rob G. This is The Social Dig, the late night call-in show. You have a great rest of your night, guys. You guys all take care. See you here Wednesday, 5 p.m. Pacific. Be there. You guys all take care. We're out of here.